Welcome to episode 14 of the initiative. We are currently in the most bogus spot I've ever done one of these podcasts in. But I have Mr. Disrupt Education, Peter Hostrawser. I think I said that backwards. Mr. Peter Hostrawser of Disrupt Education.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, right here.
It works.
Either way. Yeah.
Getting it out.
To do a podcast with us, so I'd like to welcome you to the podcast.
Hey, man. It's great
Long
to be
time
here.
coming.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
funny part about this is I'm listening to this podcast. I'm like, I wonder when he's going to ask me, because there's some good podcasts you guys got going on. So
thank you, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. So, Mr. H, just give some background. You were like the teacher that kind of ignited me into the path that I've taken.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you specialize in, is igniting kids.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
So basically, my passion in life, my why, is actually to help people find their passion, ignite that thing up, attach that to whatever they can go and do, get them over that uncomfortable hump of, I don't know if I can do this, and then just boom, watch it go. And you're a perfect example of that, right? Like putting connections with people and stuff. So in essence, what I love to do is light up people, light up their passion, give them the confidence to go forward and to do something that they really want to do. Yeah,
you definitely do have a knack for that, and I've seen it with a few kids now. You're building a list. Definitely at this point.
I am.
Yeah. So,
I always tell my my students, all I want in return is a ride on the private jet. That's it. So.
Well, I'm not materialistic, so there will be no private jets.
Well, when somebody hires you and says,
sure,
hey.
when someone says, yo, can you take a picture on our private jet for $300,000?
Yeah,
sure.
And you'll say, yes, but I need Mr. H there.
Yeah. So basically, dude, I have no idea what I want to you know what I want to talk to you about?
What?
It's very obscure, but I want you to define what it is to be a genius, because I have my own personal opinion on this, and I was talking about it to my buddy at the Cubs game the other night. Yeah. And I'm not gonna say who, but
Rizzo, but that's cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to.
Sucking it.
What's that meme? Weird flex, but okay.
Right.
But yeah, so. Shit, what was I saying?
So what's a genius? That's a tough question, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you just throwing the bomb at me right away. Man, yeah, that's something that.
Like who? Well, and the reason I ask this is because, like, you know, I've been watching a lot of documentaries lately. Right. Certainly, I have my own opinion on who are geniuses, just purely based off who inspires me. Yeah. Not saying everyone who inspires me is a genius, but like, well, I'll say my definition. My definition is
that'll help.
Because like I ask you because you definitely, like, when we look back at your tenure on Earth, I feel like people might point, at least if they go by my definition, people might point at you and say you're a genius because
that's very humbling, dude. I will tell you right now, I'm humbled.
But I'm glad. But because you're building something, right? So the first thing is you have to build something successfully. So like, an example of that is like Dollar Shave Club, right? Or Nike, or any, VaynerMedia, Gary Vee. But then I think that makes you a very successful, really brilliant person, right? To do something of that magnitude but I don't think that qualifies you as a genius. I think what qualifies you as a genius is, do you transcend the movement that you currently reside in? So I don't even know what your movement would be. Like,
well, it comes down to really just helping others understand themselves and how to grow and be fulfilled in life.
So a life coach.
Yeah, I guess, sure. But then you can attach that to anything. You can attach that to a sport. You can attach that to photography and all those things.
You're one of the few people that I feel like could help an athlete get better at their sport without even being an athletic.
Wow. Dude, I'm so humbled right now.
No, but I just feel, I mean, just to put it in perspective, like, not that I am anywhere yet, really, but the path I'm heading down and take so much pride in heading down, and I mean, I feel like so blessed that I I have the opportunities that I do.
Right.
But that all started in your class, second semester junior year. I just took a liking to you as a teacher personally, and then the class, I don't know what about it. Well, I think it was kind of just the free roaming. Like,
well, was it that, and when I just threw your video in front of everybody? I will never forget that moment.
That was a.
So if you guys don't know, like basically what I did is I took his video and he was like, "Yeah, I do this." So I'm like, "Well, let's see your audience right in front of you," and we put it on the screen.
Yeah.
And you know, pretty much
dude,
crapped your pants, but that moment,
honestly, though, like I didn't really. I felt like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
That was a smart move. Like.
I was afraid
That's
when I did that because I was like, "Oh no, wait!
Did I just mess up a kid's?"
Yeah, right.
Confidence?
I mean, but I thought, you know, afterwards, after you got through it, like after you watched it, and you were like, "Damn, that was weird." You know, I still remember the look on your face, and you know, for that moment, it was like I just had to pick one positive. Yeah. What was the one positive? And the one positive I think I said to you, if I remember correctly, I don't know if I said this exact words, but I'm like, "You're still here.
Yeah.
You're still out there." And
that.
Nobody booed you, or nobody said, "Oh, Jake, that sucks."
No, and then you ended up doing it at least one more time.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, the second time I was like, dope. All right. No, yeah, you showed 2 vlogs.
Yeah.
And then the
Did I
video
show 2
I made
in a row?
for Cliff. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I did. I remember
all
that.
All 3 of those.
Yeah. Wow, I really stuck it to you there. So.
But that is one of those. I'm trying to think of like a really like great coaching moment in like
genius.
Sports history. Yeah. But like let's say you build a movement off that and you transcend what it is to be a life coach.
That's the goal.
That would be, in my opinion, genius.
Yeah.
And if you transcend it beyond just
I'm
being
thinking,
a life coach, you know. Or I don't mean to classify you.
No, it's okay. You can classify me as genius. No, really, seriously, dude, I'm really humbled by that. Like, I have a lot of self-doubt. I think we all have self-doubt, and I think that's something that we all kind of challenge with. And for you to say that is just like, if you ask my wife, she'll tell you I do not take compliments well. So I'll be like, Yeah. So I'm just trying to hold it in and just say, dude, I really, truly am humbled by that. But I'm still thinking about genius. And I almost want to go the opposite of, you know, what's not a genius. It's, you know, insanity, right? Like, so you are literally doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome, right? I think somebody said that somewhere along the line.
Well, I would like...
So that's, I'm just going to go from there and build backwards. I think genius is somebody who really understands who they are, how to help others, and just how to be fulfilled in their life by helping others. I think that's just a genius, right?
Is that so?
And
I
then
don't know.
applying that.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
know.
Like, I feel like it would be like.
That's a really hard question.
I don't even know why I asked that.
I don't know, but we took a long walk here and we got the blood flowing, so it's good that we did that. So.
But like, so I'm thinking like Albert Einstein, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
But and I'm thinking like, in my opinion, Kanye West. I think highly misunderstood.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Every 5 years we look back at what he said 5 years ago, and we're like, how correct was he?
Right.
You know, very correct usually.
Yeah, I think that's a difficult design, like or definition, right? That's.
But like, I mean,
I'm all about fulfillment, though. Really, that's what it is, and success and fulfillment is different. You know, I think. I mean, we've had this conversation. You've had it on other podcasts. You know, and shout out to Danny Kohler because I love that guy, man. Like he's my guy too. And
I can't wait till all of us do a podcast.
Oh God, it's going to be ridiculous.
Beginning of next school year. That's going to be like 3 hours of
I think he kind of mentioned it too. Is like fulfillment and success. Like success can be measured by like money and things. Most people will do that. Fulfillment is really like, look, man, I get up in the morning and I really am happy at what I'm doing, right? And it doesn't mean I'm on a yacht or in a plane. And you know, I do joke around with the, you know, give me a ride on the private jet. That's just like, you know what I'm saying?
So
but
are
like,
you saying like that's what it requires to become a genius?
I think so.
Okay.
I think you have to have enough self-awareness to understand what really fulfills you, and that fulfillment obviously is going to be helping out and scaling out whatever that help is to generations of people.
Exactly. That's how I feel. Like, I think
there you
the
go.
generational what's the word I was using? If you can transcend what you're doing into like a good example is Kanye West.
Right.
Because he took hip-hop and transcended it into what it is now. Like, everything is really rooted back to Kanye, post-Kanye, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just a big fan of rap, so obviously, like, I would take a liking to him.
People will actually argue he's a part of that revolution. I don't want to get into a debate, but, like, you know, going back to Tupac or going back to like, you know, but still, like, I see,
like,
you know,
I mean, just like, rap is now the most popular genre, like, in terms of sales.
Yeah.
So, like, and I think there's a few people you can really point to and say, in the past generation of artists, these are the guys who transcended it. And like Jay-Z would be another one.
Right.
Tupac, obviously, he's an icon.
I mean, I even go back all the way to like Public Enemy and Chuck D, and those. I'm an old dude, right? So I actually had the privilege of being on college radio in the 90s.
That is dope.
So that was crazy when everything was blowing up. You know, NWA was coming out, and you know,
I listened to some Ice Cube.
Yeah. So. It's so funny because I talk to my son's friends and him, and they talk about, you know, Ice Cube, man. He's like he's an actor. I'm like, yeah, you have no idea. You're right, you know, like, but you know,
he was that guy from Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, but I mean, you look at these guys though, but then you know you see where their life went, like you know, fulfillment, right? It's they build themselves into. They don't never stay in one place at the same time.
It is really hard to define that, because
that's a tough one.
And you have to reserve that for like the geniuses. You can't just say that.
Right.
That's one thing my friend was telling me the other night. He's like, let's keep that, you know, like exclusive. Let's make that an exclusive club, you know?
Right.
And I happen to agree with that.
Yeah, you can't just go around like you can't just say I love you or you're a genius.
Exactly.
You know,
you know, I mean, I think people can have genius moments and still not be a genius. I mean, and I want to preface this by saying, like, I am not saying I'm entitled to deciding who isn't a genius. Like,
I don't know. You picked me, so I'm going to go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm saying like if I'm giving you,
if you're scaling it,
you had an idea, you did it, you took the leap of faith. You're still on the journey, obviously. I mean, we both are.
Yeah.
And if it gets so big that it inspires generations, then I would say you're a genius.
Right.
Because you had to do something so massive and different than what the crowd at the time was doing.
That's the goal,
and believe in it through all the adversity.
Yeah.
Which is like what I'm trying to do with this gap year thing. I'm putting out a lot of content right now.
Yeah.
About, you know,
I mean, we had a really good conversation about the gap year, right? So, and it was a great conversation because you actually get me thinking about the gap year. I don't know. We've had several,
I mean,
but I think the one like,
one.
And I think you put it on one of your vlogs. Like basically, the gap year is actually more difficult than actually going into a system again.
Yeah,
because you're building your own.
I would. I don't want to put people on blast, but definitely I do feel like the transition from high school to post-secondary education is easier than high school to any other different alternative route. Unless it's like something really simple.
It was funny because I was having a conversation with one of my administrators at the school I'm working at, and they were literally saying like high school and then going into college is actually easier than high school because you have more time. They'll tell you.
Some of my friends are saying that, and then some of them are like going through that really tough transition, and I think that just
it depends on how you can play the game.
You are.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in high school, if you understand, so I had a friend growing up who was extremely like, dude had a photographic memory, got straight A's and everything, and he went to an elite school, and I mean, we're talking like top 10 of these rankings and all that, which I don't really believe in, but you know, when you have money and I don't know, but I will say some schools are better than others. I don't know how to rank them, but he went into that.
Harvard, not to interrupt you, but I keep saying that, you know, you've told me about this, but like Harvard and Stanford are building huge incubator programs, incubator type programs. I keep saying that I think that's the future if schools want to keep students coming.
They're the cab companies that are going to stick around when Uber
and you
comes
can't,
around.
You can't put these kids in classrooms. You can't put young adults in classrooms anymore. I think that's outdated. Yeah. Personally.
I mean, they still do, but
unless you're, you know, in certain cases, obviously it's different. But anyways, back to where you're
saying. anyway, this young man, my age now, he went to this elite school and he failed out immediately because he could recite answers that were memorizable. Is that even a word? I don't know. So that could be memorized and then checking those boxes. But when you go to an elite school, they go deeper into thinking. So the question you ask, what really is a genius? That's an essential question. Okay. That's like something you have to go deep into, and we really can't. I mean, we can hit the surface of it here, but if we really wanted to, we'd have to go really deep. I'd love
to have a whole podcast about
that. Oh well,
I'm fascinated with.
Let's get Cola on that, and that'll be crazy awesome. But but he couldn't do that because he was always taught just to check the box.
Interesting.
So I checked the box in college, right? Even when I went through college, but it was easier because I could sleep in. I could take classes whenever I wanted to. Yeah. I got a lot out of college. I mean, I did. I mean, I made a few friends. Most of my friends came after college, though. I met some really good professors and things like that. You know what one of the interesting thing is? I was in the 90s. We were doing video production kind of like, you're doing here, except I paid $26,000 for the equipment when I started my company, and it was VHS tapes, and it was rolls, and it was everything.
So much
and
more.
It's funny how things end up, 20 some years later. Now I still have that knowledge of how to edit and different things. It's just way easier on the phones and things that we're doing. And so, it just kind of went through that, and I feel lucky that I had that. But I didn't know it at the time. And I wish I was woke, like kind of you are right now. You're woke into what you want to do.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
So, I mean, I never had that drive until my back was against the wall.
Yeah. So, and you know what? It's funny because, like, I think you've been talking to me about finding my why for the last year and a half, right? And I would be like, well, what's my why? Junior year of high school.
Yeah.
Which is like, saying, what do I want to do with my life, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which you should never have the answer to junior year of high school. Or like now.
Right.
Like, you really never have that answer, I would imagine. But it's unveiling itself to me more and more that I feel that I have a responsibility to break the barrier to entry into mostly filmmaking, but also just creation in general.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm gonna start talking about Thuzy.
Yeah.
So Thuzy is the company. So I bought the URL.
Yeah. Congrats, man. Today, right?
Yeah.
Is it today?
I'm just gonna paint a picture, right?
Yeah.
So I put out my podcast with Danny a week ago today when this podcast will be dropped.
Yeah.
So whatever.
So
whoever's listening to this, a week ago, I put out my podcast. Mr. H texted me, and he gave me some feedback and was like, "Yo, dude, talk about the companies that you were
in the podcast to frame it up." You were kind of like, you were hesitant. You were just like, I don't really want to, And it was funny because Cola was like, he went right back to it. I don't know if you saw it. Right? He was like, you know what? Well, your company, Thuzy. And
I was like, dude, I don't talk about that.
And basically, it's a moment of doubt, I think. I've done it, so many times, or you're just like, but now you're like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
like,
and it's scary to start. So basically, I'm about to start talking about the things that you suggested that I start talking about.
Yeah.
Because it was just kind of like, I can't really argue with what you were saying. So
it's cool.
Yeah. But so basically, I have my like freelance videography thing. I don't really have a name for that. I guess like Fine Video is a good name. People keep telling me to use.
It's pretty fine.
Yeah. So just.
You have the best last name. Come on.
Oh my God, dude.
Jake Fine.
Jake Fine is a good name, but it'll help me down the line. But, so I have that, which is like, companies will hire me, like you've hired me before.
Yeah.
To make a video or take photos for a project, whatever. Yeah. So I do that. That's its own thing. It's a separate thing. And then I have Thuzy Film Productions, which is like the company that I'm going to unveil my documentary under.
Right.
I just bought the URL for the website today, and it's spelled THOOOSI. So that's 3 O's.
Yeah.
It's a play off of the word enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Because I'm so enthusiastic about filmmaking. It's kind of cheesy, but I think the word "thusi" is dope. Like, it's actually becoming like a real life thing to me. So basically, my vision for Thusi is that it's going to be a company that owns a few companies that I start. One will be like, I want to build a streaming platform for the films that I make. So I'm already working on that. I'm working on a temporary solution for that problem right now. A minimum viable product, as you might say.
There we go.
But so that's one thing. So like the streaming, it's like a source of income. Not that I'm really focused on that right now. But you know, that's one part of the business. The other part is I want to open up a theater called Thusi Cinema in Chicago. And then so then we'll have Thusi Marketing, which I will turn Jake Fine Video into. Yeah. And I might partner up with some people on that. Can't really disclose that though. Yeah. And then, so I have the marketing, media, the film, which is my documentaries, and I will also like hire other people to make documentaries. The theater, where we will
you're gonna showcase people,
we're gonna showcase people. Like we'll have basically a business model where people pay us to use the theater. We get sponsors and all that, and that's kind of how like everyone will benefit. And we'll open up the theater for people to showcase, and then that's kind of one of the ways that I help reduce the barrier of entry into filmmaking. And then I want to start, I don't know what you call it, an organization about, and this is what Danny was trying to talk to me about in the last podcast, but I didn't want to talk about it. Just because it feels like I'm kind of patting myself on the back for like having an idea or something. But anyway, so it's an organization where like we would basically like, the goal would be it would be called Don't Shoot Chicago. And the goal would be to reduce like poverty and gun violence in the impoverished parts of our city through empowering by creation. So giving kids the tools and the education to teach and to like instead of maybe doing other negative alternatives, we could empower them to like create for people and make money that way. And
it's
we'll
interesting.
build hubs in these parts of the city. It'll just, I feel like it's a good way to.
So you have, and I still remember in the notebook sitting right behind you, I have this written out. Right?
Oh my God, I still have that.
Yeah. So and that's one of the things. You know, it's great to have that big vision. You've talked about that piece of it. It's funny because in my mind right now, I have somebody I need to connect you with on that.
Awesome.
To start understanding, you know, different neighborhoods and different things, like, because we don't understand it,
but
right?
This is my thing. Like, I've talked to some students that I feel like would be able to not only tell me what I need to know, but also be a part of it. I would talk to people I know from OPRF that I know would be really good at helping me with that. There's a teacher at OPRF that I really want to talk to who's, you know who I'm talking about. And so
I think, you know, like one of the biggest things though is, you know, that there's steps. You already realized this is why you're woke. This is why I call you woke. Because you know the steps to get, like there are going to be 100 million little steps to get to that vision. And to keep that vision there, but then to, you know, keep grinding. So one of the first things that is going to happen is your documentary and how you release that and how that whole thing goes out there. And you're going to learn so much from that. You know, that's actually going to, there are two things. And you're going to continue to, and see, you know, place of where you're going to release and all this stuff, and how the documentary works, how people respond to it. I always talk to people. I was just talking to somebody today where they were doing their first elevator speeches for their entrepreneurship class. And one kid was just like, yeah, man, it's going to be a mess. I don't really know. And, you know, he's like, I'm not real sure what I'm going to do. And I'm like, what I said to him is like, have you ever run through a mud puddle and not gotten wet or dirty? And he was like, no. I'm like, that's exactly your first step into that mud puddle. You're going to get dirty. It's going to be a mess.
Literally.
And, you know, figuratively speaking into like what he was about to do, I'm like, whatever you're going to do, it's going to be screwed up.
You know what I feel like though? If if you like go into a pitch like really loose and aware that your idea is like a shell.
Yeah.
And no matter how much shit you have figured out, it's still a shell.
Right.
To the people you're pitching it to, and you kind of make it more of a conversation. I feel like that's a more effective method of getting money.
I think it all depends on who has the money and who's sitting across the table.
But that's personally would be my approach. I would be like, here's what it is.
You should sit down with a VC.
I don't even know who that is.
My
thing is,
venture capitalist.
I don't want.
No, you're not going to go that route. But it's funny. I've had students actually with their companies. I have one right now who is trying to raise funds, and he needs X amount of money, and he actually got a VC. We're talking about a venture capitalist ear, and this guy tore him apart.
Interesting.
Which was good, but basically he was like, I want X amount of percentage of the company. I want this and this and this, and he was like, whoa, and he has a lot of people around him, a lot of mentors, and we are all like, you don't need venture capitalist money right now. You're not there yet. Like, you're still on angel investing or just, bootstrapping this thing or whatever.
If I were to teach, if you were like, yo, Jake, I'm going to give you a week in my class, teach these kids what you've learned.
Yeah.
Like, make a game plan, or if you gave me a semester, I would be like, well, who wants to make videos in here?
Yeah.
And then X amount of kids would raise their hands, and I'd be like, so you got to go get a job.
Yeah.
And you got to raise enough money to buy this camera.
Yeah. Right. That's the first thing.
And I would be like, that's the first thing. Like, don't ask anyone for anything, because I didn't.
Yeah. I would actually have them start on their phone.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a shout out to Will Bones. Your best camera is the one in your hand.
Seriously.
But
dude, did he say that?
Yeah.
That kid.
I think
Will Bones. Shout out Will Bones.
Like ridiculous. But, I think one of the things that that he was, or that I like to tell people is the two biggest things are creative problem solving and getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Dude, that's almost cliche at this point.
It is, but it's so like you tell people this and they still can't jump that hurdle, right? So many young people, and this is who I work with. We talked about the curve. I just said done something. I'm going to mess it up.
Dunn-Kruger or something.
Dunn-Kruger. I think that's it. So, you go up, your confidence is up, and then as soon as you hit that first blocker, 99.9% of the people will stop because they're like, I can't do it. I'm done. Or they make one phone call to somebody and they don't call them back, or they get one no if they're trying to sell a product, and they're like, oh, no one's going to want it. They don't analyze what they did. They don't actually go through and try to check, okay, what happens? They're not self-aware enough to see what actually happened in that interaction, right? Consistently screwing up and then learning from that is the only way to go. The problem is you have to have the guts and the confidence to actually get through those first couple of blockers, and then you start going. Self-awareness is huge.
Yeah, you have to be able to.
Huge. I was sitting in a class today, and I had a couple of people from Lolita from Discover Praxis. Shout out to Discover Praxis. And she was giving 3 things that students could do now to build something to get into a job, right? She was talking to the class, and I'm over in the corner and I can see the class, and there out of 25, 30 students, there are 4 or 5 totally into this thing. This is my first period, not my fourth period. And they're taking notes. The rest, I have one kid just kind of lay down, and stuff. Now, I don't know what's going on at home. I don't know all these other things. But I do know that when I leaned over to one person paying attention, I'm like, you can identify.
Oh, wait, yeah.
What? Oh.
I got to start it again.
Okay, got it.
Go ahead.
All right.
We'll wrap this up soon.
Yeah.
Just let that go.
No worries. You can identify the 4 kids or 5 kids, and I had them do it. I go, look around this room right now. You know who's woke, right? And
Can I pause you?
Yeah.
Define woke.
Woke means you're self-aware. You understand what's going on. You understand that you're going to screw up. You understand that there's systems in place. You understand that an opportunity is in front of you at all times.
I was talking to this girl. I keep interrupting you.
No, it's cool. Go ahead.
But I was talking to this girl who is having a hard time transitioning into her school.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're really, like, I went through this transition 2 months ago.
Yeah.
You know, when I decided to do my thing. Stay, like, you have this, because she has a dope opportunity at the school she's at. I'm like, stick to it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get over that hump and you're just going to soar through.
Yeah.
And it's not, because she was considering, like, stopping and then, like, pursuing something like similar to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not easier here. Like, it's not just all creating in pixie dust.
I always say the grass is greener where you water it, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody else said that.
That's
it's probably
facts,
still a quote.
That's
but like,
literally...
you know, wherever you are, you have to water your own grass. You know, and that's the biggest thing. And that was great advice, because really there's opportunities everywhere. There really is. I mean, if you're woke, you can be in the crappiest piece, but if you focus on where the opportunities are, look, this is a horrific example, but the quote from Anne Frank, where she says, and it's not the exact quote, but it's like, I just keep focusing on the good things. Like, here's a young girl in just an awful situation, right?
Yeah,
you read the diaries of Anne, and she is still focusing on positive. Like, that's an extreme, and it's a terrible, terrible story. But let's put this in perspective, right? Like, let's take a look at, you know, you are in a new area. You're starting something brand new. You go off to college. I remember, and my wife, when she went to University of Michigan, her first week, she took a leap to go. We were married for 2 years. She went to Michigan to get her master's degree, and she called me on that first night, just bawling. And I was scared. I was like, I don't know how to help you. We just signed up for this, 16, 12-month program. And she's like, I don't know anybody. I don't have friends and everything. And she found it. I didn't find it. I didn't say, hey, you do this.
Yeah.
But through that, she slowly found the opportunity. She has lifelong friends now. She's made tons of connections. But it's that moment where you doubt. And we all do it. Like, I can sit here and say, yeah, I'll give you all the things ever, but like, I doubt. Like, there are mornings I get up, like this morning I got up and I was like, I'm not sure if the technology is going to work for the thing that I'm going to do today, and I'm doubting, and we're literally 2 minutes away and I'm still trying to get this app going. But then I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, and we know, shout out Professor Allen, he says that all the time. At the end of the day, and when he says that, whatever he's going to say, it doesn't really, like, it's not going to kill you. Yeah. It's the end of the day, man. Like, so at the end of the day, you're going to, you made it. So I always like to tell people, like, whatever, right? Like, you made it this far. Might as well keep going.
Like, oh my God. We got to wrap it up on that.
All right.
Yeah, that was it. But, because, dude, we could talk for hours.
Yeah, I know.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, dude.
Your camera is awesome, man. It's still picking up, like,
it is
some good stuff.
I mean, dude, I think what I'm gonna do is turn this whole thing into a time lapse.
Oh, nice.
And then promo that for Instagram, because you'll see the sunset.
Oh, that'll be cool.
And I'll be like, check out the podcast.
See, always thinking.
Yeah.
Always thinking.
Creator.
So.
All right, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate
Where
it, man.
can people find you?
Yeah. So disrupteducation.co, or just Google Disrupt Education. You'll find me all across the board. Yeah. Instagram, Twitter.
And then do a little promo for how you can help any kids who kind of need some.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, one of the things that you can do is be truthful. I mean, kids want the truth, and you don't have to be mean about it, but give students the truth, give young people the truth, and then you know what, just guide them along the way. Be open, especially for older people. Youth, y'all know a lot more than us at your age, and we just need to accept that.
I'm so glad you said that.
It's going fast, but be humble. Yeah, I mean. Yeah. But we need to listen to each other. So
can I interrupt you again one more time?
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking about today is, like, if I listened, no offense to my dad, but if I listened to my dad, I would probably try to have an internship at, like, WGN right now instead of trying to do what I'm doing and fully committing to that. You would have succeeded at it, though. I'm sure, but that's not the. I mean, that's not. I gotta give props to the old man. But like, I love your old man. You know what I mean, though, like. So I do. Or I'd be at college, not doing this at all. So like, and sometimes if you just because you're a kid doesn't mean your gut isn't telling you what you need to do to make yourself happy. There's always going to be that moment where you go against your parents, and I'm dreading it for my own children. My mom always said, "Don't you ever get a motorcycle."
So my junior year of my junior year of college, I got a motorcycle.
Well,
and by the way, I wrecked it, and I'm okay. But that was the moment, I think, where I was like, wait a minute, I can start deciding for myself. It's a horrific, scary thing for parents to go through because they just want the best for you.
That's why.
But
sometimes they're playing defense.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm saying sometimes. I'm not saying by any means anywhere near most of the time, but sometimes take that leap.
Yeah.
And just do and trust your gut as a kid.
And for high schoolers, I think one of the things I say is always, I do this for my own son and my daughter, take electives first. Take electives first. And if by the way you really do love math, which people do, then kill it, but take electives first, jump in,
the thing is, like,
get as much experience as you can, and look for, there's so many of these things, but zig when everybody else zags.
Oh my God, dude.
Right? Like,
give them 5 more slogans.
Oh my gosh.
While you're at it.
No, really? You're going to cut me off? But no, zig when people zag, because if you do what everybody else does, then you'll just be part of the crowd. And if you're comfortable there, that's fine. But if you want to be special and create something, if you want to get to that genius level, you got to zig when people zag.
I think that's the goal.
Yeah.
Being a genius.
There we go.
That's who I get inspired by, people like that. So I'd like to do the same. But all right, thanks for coming.
All right, man.
Thanks for spitting so
having
much
me,
knowledge
man.
and filling up my TikTok with mini content.
There you go. Solid.
JakeFine_ at TikTok.
What?